Go green. Go white. Go green. Go white. Is it time to get this show on the road? Hello? Hello, hello. Can you hear me now? My name is Vinny Gore. So depending on your generation, it could be Vinny Barbarino, or it could be my cousin Vinny. So it could be either one. We'd like to welcome and thank you for coming out to our event tonight. It's always great to be in a room full of Spartans. And we brought the Michigan weather with us. We wanted you to feel at home. And see, we bring the smiles, and pretty soon, you wouldn't know the snow's going to come. And if that happens, Mike promised me that he will give me his lotto ticket. So, in all seriousness, my name is Vinny Gore. I serve as the Senior Vice President for Student Life and Engagement. And what that means is anything that has to do with the out-of-classroom experience, whether it be living on the residence halls or eating on campus, being in the union, all of the traditional, what we call our student affairs career services, our identity groups, the Kellogg Center, the Breslin, 2 golf courses, Forest Acres, and a tennis facility. And then outside of that, I get a chance to sleep. We're excited here because we get a chance to not only talk with you about what we're doing at Michigan State, but also we get to share our pride and joy, and those are these 3 students who are here because we do this work because of them. And when we started down this process, I would say 12, 15 years ago, when we started thinking about the on-campus experience and what we do for student success, it was putting our students in the center as being at the heart of that. And then Provost Hewitt and Dr. Denise Maybank and I started this notion of what we call the neighborhoods. And the idea of creating the neighborhoods was taking this large university and making it small and allowing for people to find their place. Because one of the things that's critically important in student success is that sense of belonging, because belonging matters. So if you think about your time when you were a student and what made those connections for you and why you persisted, it was because of people. And Mike was sharing the story about his wife, Ann, who, when the daughter moved into McDonald Hall, she was being part of the Broad School Living Learning Program. Said, "This is my daughter. She's knocking on doors. She's from Arizona. She's a little shy. Be a friend." And and it makes a difference, right? It makes a huge difference about making that connection and doing that, and that's part of it. Because one of the things that happens is we hear this from our student leaders when at graduation and other students. I'm excited to come to Michigan State. I got this flag in that says, I've been accepted. I've become part of the tribe. And then I get to campus, and man, this place is big. And I'm looking around, and I'm trying to find it. And then I find my tribe, my people. And that could be in a fraternity, that could be in a band, that could be with identity group, that could be anything. And that makes this place small. And then the next thing that happens is I get to figure out my high-impact experience, whether that be working on campus, whether that be a leadership group, undergraduate research, study abroad, and then Spartan traditions really take hold. And that's all about student success. Because what we want people to do when they graduate is become game changers and leaders like you and follow in your footsteps. So with that, I want to say thank you for all your support here in Arizona and making this a very special place for our Spartans. I'd like to introduce my colleague. This is Ken Tobin. She got her undergraduate degree from University of Toronto, her master's from St. Mary's, and then her doctorate from Colorado State. And we're excited to have her as she's leading our advancement team. So let's give her a big round of applause.
All right, let's see. Can you hear me? Great, all right. They said it would work, and they're magic here, so thanks, Benny, for that great introduction. Ever since I met Ann and Mike Burnett, we met on a boat in Seattle. I was like, these are fun people, and then she was honored at the Grand Awards, and some of you were there to celebrate, and what a great celebration of Spartans that evening was. So I could tell there was something magical happening here in Arizona, and this club is active and passionate, and the best of what Spartans are, and just staying connected to the university. You make this club and chapter so vibrant. So I've been looking forward to coming and being here today. And as Benny said, we brought the rain just to make you feel at home. So thanks for that. But great to have everybody together. And we've got a nice panel lined up. But let me just for a moment, I think we have a couple other Grand Award, past recipients of Grand Awards. So let's give them a shout out. If you feel, if you're willing, stand up, and let's give everybody a round of applause who's our former Grand Award winners. There we do. Several. Well, the other thing we wanted to take a moment to recognize a few folks in the room who have just become Abbott Society members. So would Jeff and Megan Schifra and join us up on stage, and Jim and Tenna Voigt as well, please. Yes. Are they? Here we go. Don't be shy. Come on up. So Amy here has a little token of appreciation for both of these families who have joined us in the Abbott Society. Thank you for your increase of support to natural sciences and the scholarship there. That just means such a difference to students like this. So thank you for everything you do for Michigan State. And Jeff and Megan give to the Izzo football building. Yes, I did say Tom Izzo football building, and that's one of the many things I love about Michigan State is that we're all in this together, and so thank you for supporting athletics, and what a great name to be associated with, right? So. And I think that just speaks volumes, really, how we all pull together. There's lots of great things happening in Michigan State. There's a few things that put us in the news, but we're back at it here with the interim president, Teresa Woodruff. She sends her regrets. As you can imagine, she started Monday. Her schedule was already full, so getting here today would have been a little bit difficult, but she looks forward to coming out and meeting all of you and being part of this great community. So thanks for sticking with us. That's what we do. We support each other, whether it's coaches supporting other sports, us supporting each other as alumni, as leaders and colleagues. That's just what attracted me to MSU. It's a special place. You can see that. So really excited to be able to highlight some of our first generation scholars and scholarship recipient from Arizona because your chapter's so active. So. And a shout out to that. I mean, this club really is setting the bar with others. On our Give Green Day, you exceed all of the giving from other clubs. So thank you. We always hold you up as an example, and you'll get to hear and see how that really truly makes a difference in somebody's life. Our first generation scholars, 1 in 4 of our MSU students are first gen. And that's a special group of people and navigating a new world, but also so important. We talked about this afternoon about how critically important that is to our country and to our progress going forward. The ripple effect of bringing people into education, higher education, having that will change the course of their lives and their families' lives and for generations to come. So really pleased that Marty Vanderplow is here to be one of our panelists who did a very generous gift to support first-gen scholars. And also, if that's not enough, research as well, because he's a former faculty member and 3 endowed positions in the College of Engineering. So a lot of really great work happening on the campus, enabled by the generosity of our donors, our alumni community, like all of you. So together, we just keep making this place a better place. So thank you for all of that. I'm probably going to have to get my glasses on now for this because I'm going to ask folks to join me. So I just mentioned Dr. Marty Vanderplow, who is a triple degree holder from Michigan State. He's got a mechanical engineering degree. I'm not going to tell them the years, okay? So I won't disclose that. Bachelor's degree and his master's and then a PhD. So he is the current CEO of Workiva, and he recently established all these programs that I just mentioned. So he's really a great leader and great Spartan. So thanks for being here, Marty, and Ori as well. So thank you. And as Benny said, our students are always the heart of everything we do, and we have a couple of our inaugural Vanderplow scholars with us. So Alyssa, if you want to join us. Alyssa Koneski is a second-year Vanderplow scholar from Michigan, studying political science and quantitative data analysis in the College of Social Science. So thanks for making the trip. And Alex Koyok is a first-year Vanderplow scholar from California studying linguistics in the College of Arts and Letters. So, Alex. And then I know you have a special place for Valerie Lerma, who is your recipient of an Arizona Spartan Scholarship. She's a fourth-year student from Arizona studying physiology and natural science. That doesn't diminish everybody else on stage, but I can see everybody's got a close-knit community here. So, and of course we have Benny Gore. So Benny is an expert in the student life and engagement, and just great to have Benny here. Thanks for making the trip. And adjusting, because we've had to adjust over the last couple of weeks. I know we originally had President Sam Stanley going to join us, and those were a few things happening. So thanks to the team. There are a lot of people here from the university who have pivoted again, pivoted some more, got on a plane and came to be here with us. So thanks to everybody just being here together. So it's great. And then you also have some cards, I believe, on your chair. So if you want to, if you think of a question or have something for the panelists or for anybody else, we'll take those at the end. So they'll collect those as well. So that's an opportunity. If you, hold them up and we'll get those answered at the end. But we wanted to have a warm up and give them the advantage of knowing what the questions were to start. So the first one is for Marty. So with your gift to MSU, you've made an investment in a big public university. Why is supporting a public institution important for you?
Is that on? No. Push it up. It'll turn red. Oh, push it down. I'm a tech guy, right? Can't even get my mic on. It's a real pleasure to be here with a whole room full of Spartans and.
Oh, that's me. Sorry. I just need to stay in this spot.
Oh, you have to stay in one spot, Kim? How are you going to?
You can see that's going to be a problem.
That
right?
is going to be a problem. You should have used one of these. Anyway, it's great to be here, and I see a lot of green shirts around town, and when I'm hiking Camelback Mountain, I always see Spartans. So I knew there were a lot in the valley, but it's great to see this group, and I'm definitely going to interact more with this group. It's wonderful to see a group of Spartans coming together and supporting the university. So it's really wonderful. The question about a large public university is one that really started to resonate with me after I got out of school and really started watching the world around me. I mean, the public universities do the heavy lifting. They do all the heavy lifting of educating at a high level mass number of students. And yeah, Harvard and Princeton and all those things have their place, but there's nothing like a large public university to educate a lot of young people at a very high level. And it's very impressive what our university system does. It's one of the biggest advantages we have, I think, in this country is the public university system. And for me, it's all about educating the people in our country, in our world. That's what's going to move the needle in society. It's the only hope humanity has right now, from my point of view. And don't mean to sound pessimistic, but I think it's really important that more and more people get educated as much as possible to make good decisions, to contribute to everything we're doing. And the only way you get those numbers is with large public universities. And I think that you also watch the product, the outcome, the people that come out of those universities. I would put Michigan State and a lot of other public universities at the top of the list in terms of social, good impact for our society. And it's just a numbers game and a quality game, and the public universities have done both of those really, really well in this country, and especially Michigan State, right? So, absolutely. Great to be here, and it's for me, it's a real privilege to be able to give back, and I feel fortunate to be here with these young people. They're the real heroes here, so anyway, thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely, and as an outsider, I have hit my 6-month mark though, so I'm no longer counting in days but months, and I look forward to counting the years with all of you. But as somebody who has worked almost 3 decades in universities, I could see the excellence, the quality programs, the access mission is so compelling at Michigan State University, and we're just, everybody's doing a bang-up job on delivering on that mission, so thank you for that. So the next question is to Alyssa. Could you please tell us about the day you learned you would be part of the Vanderplough Scholarship Program and what that was like for you?
Yeah, so I remember getting the email that I had received the scholarship, and as a second-year student, I found it really hard to find scholarships that were dedicated to second years and not for incoming first years. So I remember immediately going up to my mom and saying, hey, I got a scholarship, which was super exciting considering I come from a low-income family where money and finance for my education is really hard to come by. But outside of just the finance that I got from being a part of this program, I got a lot of professional development experience on campus. I was enrolled in a class with MSU's Career Services, where I got to learn about tons of different things, like how to prepare for an interview, how to make like an elevator pitch, do like leadership activities and bond with other first generation students. I also learned like other like miscellaneous things, like how to properly wear a name tag, which was pretty fun.
Everybody's panicking right now.
It's supposed to be on the right side, so.
She corrected me earlier. I had it over here, and so I quickly moved it. So.
But outside of that, I was even able to work one-on-one with faculty to make emails, write emails to professors looking for research and get involved in undergraduate research. So I currently am a research assistant at the Institute for Public Policy and Social Research at MSU, which is super exciting because I wouldn't have been able to do that without this program. But yeah, I'm just so grateful for everything that this program has done for me, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
Great, thank you. I know your mom is proud of everything that you're doing, so congrats to you. So Alex, in the next few years of the Vanderplough Scholars Program, we hope to introduce peer-to-peer mentors. So in addition to advice from other first-gen students, what resources and services have been crucial to your success at MSU?
So I think that besides just peer-to-peer advice, programs such as Magic, OCAT, and even the FLY program have been very crucial to my success. I think if I talk about OCAT and Magic, they allowed me to come here in July in Michigan State to really see what the campus was about. I remember one of my first thoughts was, I know I want to come here, but what if it's not right for me? What if I don't belong? And when I came onto campus and really experienced that, I saw a big school, and over that week, it really turned into a smaller, more homey-like feeling place that felt so right for me. I met friends, and I really was able to hear success stories from a lot of people. I think continuing on, especially with the FLY program, people like Marlene, Perry, and even Mr. Marty Vanderplough have really helped in my continuation to achieving success. Marlene specifically just recently helped me prepare for this program, and I remember thinking, oh, how do I prepare for this? And she dropped her time for me, and she really allowed me to prep for this. I remember that even as a first-generation student and someone who doesn't know what to do when things are going wrong financially or when my transcripts and credits aren't transferring properly, I remember going on a call with Perry, and immediately he said, I don't know if I can help you with this, but I know who can. And I think that a program like Fly that immediately makes you feel heard and points you in the right directions and something so beneficial. Even with some of the advisors at our Fly, like Brendan, I asked him, I want to do minors, I want to do this, these are my interests at Michigan State, this is what I want to achieve, how do I get there? Brendan was so helpful to me, and he told me his experiences, his things, and I think that also adds on to why peer-to-peer advice is so beneficial. I think it's one thing to go online and look up, what should I minor in? What is best for this? But when you hear it from someone else and hear those experiences, you start to think about, I see myself in them. I see that situation. That process is forever in my mind, and it allows you to reflect about what can I do and what is the best steps for me. So I think that programs like that and the Fly program, which I hope to continue to grow alongside and see the development of what it can be, are things that I look so much forward to, because it's not just a program. It's a community that has fun events that allows you to make those friendships and feel so close to the advisors and the help, while also getting those workshops of what it means to be successful, how to manage time, and how to find the success that's needed for the next 4 years of your life.
Great. Well, maybe because I'm the new kid on the block, but could you explain what Fly is to our audience? Maybe everybody else knows it, but can you share a little more about the program? And
Oh, yes. So from my understanding, the Fly program is a program dedicated to first-generation students. And thanks to Mr. Marty Vanderplow, he's allowed us to get these resources in which we can ask for any help, especially as first generations who might not know exactly what they're doing. There's little questions and financial help that is being given, and as targeted towards first generation students and even sophomores and other people alike. It's a program that kind of just helps you beyond what the institution itself offers.
Well, you're rocking it, Alex, so good job. Okay, Valerie, you know this is your community that supports you, so what would you like to tell them about the impact they've had upon your time at MSU and as a person?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm really grateful because the Arizona Spartans is primarily the reason I went to MSU. I remember I went to this event that they had in Scottsdale about potential Spartans. And somebody, I don't remember who it was, but they asked my dad, oh, is she going to be attending? And he said, oh, I'm not sure. We're still trying to figure out the finances, what's going to happen. And he goes, give me a call. And my dad gave him a call, and next thing I know, the Arizona Spartans are giving me a scholarship. And my dad said, you know what? This is something we can do, and I think you're going to go to Michigan State. So I was like, yes. I was really set on it, so I was just waiting for my dad to give me a thumbs up. So it's been really impactful. They also helped me study abroad. I remember when I got my award letter, they gave me MSU gave me a scholarship to study abroad. And I was like, okay, I want to do this. And then I saw that they charge out-of-state tuition for study abroad, and I was like, I don't know if I could do this anywhere. It's a little pricey. So then I reached out to Anne, and I asked her if she knew of any scholarships I could apply to, and Anne goes, I'm working on it. She talked to a million people, and she goes, okay, we're going to give you some money to go to your study abroad. And I studied abroad in Spain this past summer, and it was one of the most magical experiences I've had.
That's amazing. Magic's the right word for it, for sure. So Veni, the MSU 2030 strategic plan, what would you like the audience to know about the first generation initiative of the plan, and anything else that you want to share about students and highlight it in the student success part of the plan?
So our goal is any student that we accept, we want them to grow, thrive, and graduate. And by 2030, we want our graduation rate to be at 86. We're currently at 81, 82 this year. And it's real important because I think if you see the students here, it is the ability to come to a first-class university, get a world-class education, and also learn about yourself and learn about others, so that when they graduate, they become world changers. And so all of our efforts are based on trying to have a great experience in the classroom with curriculum, but also the out-of-classroom experience. Because it's that part of the experience that really helps students grow and become better people. And the strategic plan is also embedded in our diversity, equity, inclusion plan. Because one of the things is that we live in a very diverse world. And we want our students to understand and appreciate the diversity that our world has to give. And so that is critically important for us as these young people graduate and they become future leaders and set policy and make decisions and one day give back to another group of students who will be following them.
Great, thank you. So Marty, what inspires you about the next generation of Spartans? And do you have any advice for the students here today or advice we can take back to other students?
Sure. I guess I would say that those first generation students are really special people in the sense that, you know, it isn't a tradition in their family. When I was raised in Midland, Michigan. My mother and father both went to Michigan State. They met in a dorm at Michigan State. And so, you know, when I was being raised, no one ever asked me, are you going to go to college? They never asked me that question. They said, where are you going to go to college? And so, you know, I was one of the privileged. I was, and they had enough money to, you know, pay for my first few years of school. And I got to say, the first couple years, I didn't put in the effort I probably should have. I took it for granted, and because it was just given to me, and it was expected, and it was culturally in that community and in my family. And yet, you look at these, what did you say, 25% now, or 20% our first generation students at Michigan State. That really excites me, because we're getting into other segments of the population that have not been as fortunate and can now get an education. And when I approached Michigan State, like I said, I was very fortunate in life and was able to give back. And I know a lot of people in here give back as well, and that's really, I think, an amazing thing. And I think we all agree that that's, you know, part of the responsibility you have of having a good life. And I said, I really want to help, you know, the young people that don't have that, because what I've seen throughout my life is those people are hungrier, and they have the elbow grease to really get down and work on it, and they just have a different attitude, and I didn't want them not to be able to have that opportunity just because of the expense of going to college. So I'm very, very excited about this group. I think they're going to move mountains in the future for our country. And in terms of advice, I would tell them, enjoy it. Time goes by so fast. And if there's one thing I didn't do, I didn't enjoy those days as much as I should have. And the whole experience at a large university, you know, academics is just a small part of it. Growing up and becoming an adult and a human is so important. And my daughter is going to go to a large public university just because of that. You fall in there, and all of a sudden you're out of your comfort zone, and you got to grow. And all of these students here are really the amazing ones tonight. I mean, they're the ones that came out of situations where they didn't have the luck I did. So that's what excites me. And my advice is have fun, because you wake up one day and you look in the mirror and you don't look like you did when you were going to college. And the question I ask myself is, I look in the mirror, I say, who is that? But it's so important to appreciate every day and every experience and take it in and work on your academics, but all the rest of the stuff that goes on is just as important for you to become a well-rounded human. So that's the advice I would give you. And so,
Great.
Sorry, I ramble a lot.
Do we have any questions from the group? If you wrote them out or you want to just stand up and share them, that's okay too. We can handle it either way. Remember I said we keep pivoting. All right, let's see if I can. Considering the cost and time of college degrees, where do trade schools fit? Benny, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. I think there are opportunities for everyone to have an education, whether that be in a trade school or going to a college, university, community. We need tradespeople. If you look at the labor market now, we're seeing in the trades this sort of generational shift. And there are a lot of electricians and carpenters who built this country. We need folks to join in those professions because they're honorable professions. My grandfather was a carpenter, and he worked with his hands, and I appreciate everything that he did to provide for our family. And that is an honorable profession that we have and that we should encourage. If you're in Europe, you know, there's trade schools that are a part of your education as you move forward in life.
This is a related question. And again, I'm going to ask Venny to talk about some of the things you've observed as a leader for a long time at MSU. What is MSU's administration doing to reduce the cost of education for all students?
Yeah, I would say that was one of the things that we work at and think about every day. And as someone who runs an auxiliary unit, we think about making our institution accessible to all. And one of the ways that we do that, for example, in the residence halls, there are a number of universities that if they renovate a building, they charge a higher rate, and the unrenovated buildings, they don't. Michigan State, we chose not to do that. We chose to have a simple rate that allows for us to run it in a much more efficient way. Our dining plan is set up to support students. Our dining plan right now is all you care to eat. And as a student, if you're living on campus as a freshman, you can go in as many times as you like. And you're probably asking yourself, why is that? Because we do that so we address the issue of food insecurity. Because one of the things that happens with many of our students when they move off campus, or is how many meals can I have a day? If you live on campus, you don't have to worry about that. And so when students don't have to worry about where they live or where they eat, that allows them to focus on the things that are important, which is going to college, studying hard, and hanging out with their friends. That's what it allows them to do. And because we have scale, it allows us to keep the costs down. And so it is the same thing when we think about this in terms of our tuition in what we do, is we think about making sure that we keep our costs down because we want to be an accessible university. If 20% of our students are coming from first-generation families, that means that unlike our school down the street, we really think about being accessible to the citizens of Michigan. Mm-hmm. Our university, if we look at the bell-shaped curve, our bell-shaped curve is predominantly middle class. And so we want to make sure we're accessible to the middle class. If you think about the Harvards of the world, they're a barbell. A lot of their students come from very wealthy families, and they have some portion of the students come from poor families, but the middle class, it's not as accessible. That's not Michigan State. That's not who we are. That's never who we've been. We're going to be accessible to the citizens of Michigan, and we're going to really look at and manage our cost. And we also want to attract the best and the brightest, which are these folks here.
Well, you're about to lose some money, Vinny, because my 18-year-old son is going to be a first-year student next year, and that meal plan, he's all over it.
Well, so, but see, then there's Alyssa to balance it out, so.
Well, absolutely, I can observe in the 6 months that I've been here, the leadership of the university cares deeply about accessibility. It's part of our land-grant mission, and I think there's a lot of work and a lot of consideration at the leadership tables I'm part of about this topic. And I would observe, as a parent of a college student in Colorado, that the cost of attendance is exactly the same at Michigan State for an in-state student, which is out of sight for a lot of people, but I would say it's a really good value for your money compared to a lot of other schools, and I was really surprised by the quality of the program and that it would be the same cost of attendance that we were paying in a different state. So I know the university is committed to working on that, and I would also say other things we do to help is our big effort. There are a lot of my colleagues from advancement here, so thank you for setting up scholarships and helping work with us, because giving back really does also help our students really make a college education attainable for them. So Marty's got a thought about it. Good, because then I can read the next question.
Yeah, go ahead. You can get the question. I just want to add one thing. I think that I don't work for the university, so I can take liberties here, right?
Yeah.
I think the point of trying to keep costs down and optimizing efficiency at universities is really critical. But to have a quality education, there's just some reality of fixed cost. And I think that as a society, we should be asking ourselves not only how do we keep the cost down, but also how do we pay for people who want to go to school and put in the effort as a society. I think this group addresses that by giving money for scholarships and all those things, but as a society, it's even a bigger question because the payback is well documented. I mean, the economies are stronger, there's a larger tax base. Everything gets better as you educate your people, whether it's 4-year degrees or trade schools or whatever. So we should be asking ourselves, society, how do we ensure, and cost control is one part of it, but how do we get as many people that want to go to school covered and paid for if they put in the effort? So sorry for that.
Good. No, it's a good point. I'm going to pose this question to our students. The question is, what are the biggest challenges students have on campus? One of our students want to answer that? I can answer. Okay.
I would say one of the biggest challenges is finding a community because it is such a big campus. I remember when I first went to MSU, I didn't know a soul, nobody. And so I joined a Drew Science Scholar program where they had residential living for minority students who were studying science. And I think if I hadn't joined that program, I don't think I would have stayed at MSU because you're already so far from home. You don't have any friends, and so it's a really lonely place and a place where you feel sometimes like you don't belong. And so I think that's one of the biggest challenges is reminding yourself that you deserve to be there and you deserve to take up some space at an institution like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can really attest to that. When I first started at MSU, I had no friends on campus, and I had no clue what I really wanted to do on campus, off campus, and I really ended up just stumbling upon what I'm in today, which I'm so grateful for. I do student advocacy, I'm in a fraternity, it's so fun. But to make those first steps, it's really hard to put yourself out there, especially when you feel alienated from other people. You feel like you're the first person doing this and you have no one to go to.
I think definitely adding on to what was said earlier was, especially as an out-of-state student, the sense of belong is very hard to find. And I think that's why finding the programs that feel like community is so important. There's students out there who never have those programs or never have those knit-tight communities. And like Valerie said, had I not found that in another program, maybe I would have felt isolated forever and decided, I don't know if I can come back because I don't know if I ever will belong. And it's why, again, I emphasize that programs with tight-knit communities are so important to students and the sense of belong, because these educators and people who really care allow you to dissipate those feelings and really feel like you made the right choice in the first place.
Building on that, thank you. The question is, as a diverse student, I think we're talking about belonging and creating community, but Venny, if you could add, what else can we do to help our diverse students feel more supported, accepted, and loved?
Yeah, this is one of the big questions that we ask ourselves every day is helping our students from diverse backgrounds find their sense of community. And I think you're hearing that, especially if you're an out-of-state student. And there are 1,000 clubs. There are a number of different orientations. And one of we have pathway programs that we really want students to be involved in. The pathway programs are those programs that exist pre-college. So when Alex was talking about the MAGIC program, which is put on by the Office of Cultural and Academic Transition, it's really geared for our students from minoritized communities. And the goal is for this 1 week is to have a high intense, high impact experience and help developing communities and friendships. Because that's critically important for our students. And so, so there's a number of different opportunities. And one of the things that we started the last couple of years is we call it the Inclusive Campus Initiative. And the idea of that is building an ecosystem across campus so that students feel a sense of belonging no matter where they're at, because it's a large place. And it's connecting the work of the APUE office, which is where Amy spends most of her time, with my staff, with academic units, so that we're being very thoughtful and intentional in how we connect across various different communities. Because one of the things that we've discovered is that a lot of us come to work at Michigan State every day, but we may not know what everyone else is doing. And so the more that we know what others are doing, the better connections we can make for students.
Can you, speaking of knowing, the question is, what percentage of our students are Black and what supports are given to Afro-American students?
So 9% of our student population is Black African-American as identified. And there are a number of different programs that we have in place, some through the Office of Cultural and Academic Transition, and then there's a number of other ones through the neighborhoods and through our identity conscious advising. There are a series of programs through the pathway, whether it be TRIO, I'm trying to make sure I get it off, Detroit Made. So there's a number of different programs that are designed to support Black students. One of the things that we have discovered with Black males, especially in the sophomore year, is Black males who move off campus have a persistence rate that's about 0.5% lower than other populations. Same thing with women, Latinx students. And so we've been focusing a lot on the sophomore year and providing support for many of our Black students who to make the transition from the freshman year to the sophomore year, which is pretty significant for us.
Thank you. I'm going to ask Valerie, maybe she can help us with this one. The question is about study abroad, and how has that changed since the pandemic? Obviously, schools had to suspend those programs for a period of time, but it sounds like you got a magical experience in Spain. Any insights around that, or any in terms of how they'll change in the future? But what I observe is they're coming back, and there's more demand than ever, certainly from our global citizenship and students. So anything that I mean, that was your first experience, but anything that your friends, that students talked about that was different in terms of traveling and being study abroad that you observed?
So I want to say we were the first group to go after the pandemic. They did tell us that the groups got significantly smaller. Mm-hmm. So my group in Spain was about 20 of us from MSU, and we would take classes together. So we didn't get to mix with other schools, but there were other schools present. In terms of travel, I didn't really travel a lot before the pandemic. It was really my first time leaving the country. But I do know that it got a lot smaller, and we were the first year. I was supposed to go the year prior, and then the pandemic happened. But most of it was just a smaller group and really making sure we were in guidelines in the country that we were going to.
Sounds like as transformative as it was when I went to study abroad in Italy in the early 90s, so that's great. Thank you. Venny, sorry to keep picking on you, but you're our expert on a lot of things today. What is the future at MSU for continuing education and non-degree learning? And then we have one last question after that. So.
Sure. So one of the things that we are starting to do is really look at certificate programs. And we're seeing that in what we would say be the STEM. Those students and people who may have a bachelor's, who are interested in machine learning, artificial intelligence, who may not necessarily want to have a four-year degree, but get a certificate. And through Parvu David, who's our associate provost for teaching and learning, is taking this up as a strategic opportunity for us. There's probably a large percentage of Michigan State graduates who are looking for skill sets to improve in today's 21st century workplace. And through the College of Engineering, particularly business, communications, arts, and sciences, offering these certificate programs and access to world-class faculty to be able to learn the latest learning that's happening on campus. So that's one of our strategic goals, and you would see it if you read it in the plan under student success.
Great, thank you. The question, the final one, was about how as alumni can we help students achieve their goals, and I might tackle that. I think, so many of you support our student scholarships and fellowships and other things. That the financial support allows our students to study abroad, to do other things and research or open opportunities, just have access to come to college, but also enrich their experience while they're there and be able to take advantage of all the things that Marty's encouraging people to really enjoy the whole experience. So first and foremost, that is transformative to our students, and I love the stories that we put out in terms of some of our Marcom people are here. That's inspiring to people. I know you can tell, and in just a little bit I've gotten to know Marty's not one that seeks the spotlight, but really asking him to come and share his stories, inspiring to our students. Your stories are inspiring to our students. Coming back to campus, serving as mentors. I met somebody at the Dallas event that we did, and he was going to admissions events with the admissions folks as an alumni representative to tell his story. And for people, don't underestimate how inspiring that can be for future students. And you mentioned that earlier in terms of not seeing themselves, seeing somebody that has a shared experience and that they made it at MSU and are giving back. I think that can be very inspiring. So lots of ways to get involved. And we have Amy Britton and Taryn Stars is here somewhere. They are your folks for Arizona. So thank you to both of them. And we have a lot of other great advancement MSU folks here too, so please enjoy and get to know them. Let's thank our panelists again. And Our team put together a great video to close things up, and you will notice it already needs updated because we need one more voice at the end, and I've already asked interim president Teresa Woodruff to do a voiceover at the end. So the next time we get together, we'll play this with an addendum to it, but gives you a little bit of Spartan spirit to close out the night. So thanks for being here. Thanks for everything you do. Your commitment to this university is really wonderful and transformative. So thank you so much. So with that, let's play the video.
The capacity of the human mind to cope with expanding knowledge is equal to the capacity of mind to creating. We have the means to meet the challenges of the rest of the century and the century after it if we keep learning how to use them.
What I mainly think of is the openness I found at Michigan State University, the open-mindedness and the open-heartedness, qualities I've never encountered in quite such measure anywhere else.
The best days of Michigan State University are ahead of us. And now is the time to come together with urgency and optimism and to advance a more inclusive, sustainable, and better future for all.